Ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 3 rounds in the PFL bantamweight division. First, we take it over to the blue corner to introduce a man with a record of 20 victories against just 5 defeats. Tonight, making his PFL debut. He weighed in at 135.5 pounds. He's a former RIZIN bantamweight champion representing Toyohashi Aichi, Japan, Naoki Inoue. And across the cage in the red corner, with a record of 15 victories with only 4 defeats, 10 wins by way of stoppage. He also weighed in at 135.5 pounds. This man was the 2025 PFL Bantamweight World Tournament Champion, representing Sao Paulo, Brazil, Marcirley Alves. And your referee for this bout is Mike Beltran.
Dan, is this a classic mixed martial arts matchup, striker versus grappler? I know both guys fancy themselves well-rounded, but 9 submission victories for Inoue, none for Alves. 2 knockout victories for Inoue, 10 for Alves.
Yeah, it does very much seem like that on paper, but the more I watch Inoue's fights, the more it's clear to me that it's his striking that forces the submission game into the fights. Look how fast he is, look how long he is with that jab, how relaxed he is. He's got a really, really well-planted back foot, and he moves very, very smoothly off it. On the other side, you can see Marcirley Alves is a little bit more flat-footed. He does move, but he likes to wait so he can throw bombs. And this is one of the things that we saw in one of his last fights, where he took a lot of kicks to the leg, and it started to really undermine his base and his movement. This is something maybe Naoki Inoue has learned from, and he thinks if I can chip away at his legs, I can play the long game all night.
And the long game is well put, because the length advantage is pretty significant for Inoue, not just because of the measurables, because of how he fights. He's got that wide karate style stance. He throws the long jabs. Alves likes to stay a lot more within himself, closer to that shell.
Yeah, I really like how efficient Naoki Inoue is with his punches. There's no drawback on that jab. He puts it right where it needs to be. What you'll notice with Marcirley Alves, there's a lot of looping and different trajectories to his punches. I like a really, really clean, straight punch. Oh, clipped him there, knocked him off balance. Head movement on one knee from Inoue. See, nice feints as well. He's just so difficult to read. He never really gives you anything before he moves to strike. And then when you go for him, he's nowhere to be found.
I'm really curious at what Inoue thinks of this flat-footed style for Alves, because a lot of times in Inoue's fights, you'll see him using his jab and then his right high kick to kind of keep people within that sort of pie shape in front of him. A lot of his opponents try to bounce around and feint a lot, and that's the opposite of what he's getting here from Alves. He is in that pie shape. He's right there in that slice of pizza, wanting to engage there for the entire fight.
Yeah, and that's a really good observation, and what you can see is every time Naoki Inoue moves around, Alves is not moving to cut him off, he's turning to face him. So of course he has real good power in his hands, and he likes to be responsive when his opponent does attack. But it does to a certain extent lead him onto his opponent's strikes if he's not able to understand what's going on. Inoue constantly drifting, changing his line.
Nasty calf kick again there from Inoue.
Alves is patient, but he doesn't really use his footwork aside from to pressure. There's no cutting off involved really, and this is where Naoki Inoue is really showing us the difference in one person that's got good footwork and one person that likes to stand and knock his opponents out on flat feet. That's a good body kick though from Alves.
He's landed a couple. Back to the calf kick goes Inoue. Alves showed a spinning kick.
Again, though, with the footwork as well, it just seems effortless when he decides he's moving away. He doesn't even have reactions with his head. He's not even pulling his head out of the way or anything. He trusts his feet and his movement to get him out of range. Look at that. Look how calm he is. It's really beautiful to watch. And we've got 2 very, very different styles in here, and I like both of them. But the smoothness, the silkiness, the way that he moves in and out and feints. Very, very difficult to get close to for Marcirley Alves. He has to really use the space to close him down, force him into a corner up against the fence where he can start to throw punches with a bit more reckless abandon because he knows his opponent can't move backwards.
Alves just hit a long hook from Inoue and tried to attack with the same punch, strung a right hand behind it, but that distance measurement for Inoue keeps him out of trouble again. And now Alves cutting it off a little bit better, stalking along the fence. Ideally for him, he can get Inoue backed up against the cage. Nice left hand there from Alves. Easier said than done. And remember, Inoue, he's not as familiar fighting in a cage as some of the guys here in the PFL. He spent a lot of time fighting in rings.
You know, and I think this kind of suits him better, to be honest, because if you fight Marcirley Alves in a ring, he's got a 90-degree angle to ram you up against the corner and start to really work. Whereas, because of the shape and the size of the PFL cage, this constant space to move for someone that's got good footwork. Look at that check hook that he's using.
Final few seconds of round one, round two next. How'd you score?
Look, I thought that was a pretty clean round for Inoue to me. I mean, of course, Alves did land some shots, but it was just cleaner work. I really didn't see Inoue take anything that seems to bother him too much. We can see some redness in the body, but really, I thought his striking in that first round was quite beautiful to watch. That's what Marcirley Alves needs to do. He needs to get those kettlebells flying, and he needs to use the fence to his favor like that. So you can't play Inoue's long game again for another round because he's going to get picked off and he's going to become more predictable biting on those feints.
Better head movement here from Alves, starting to respect Inoue's power a little bit more here in the second frame. And more importantly, set himself up for things like that with his head movement.
Another body kick, yeah.
Partially blocked by Inoue.
Lovely feinting though, look at that. Pops in with a jab, Alves comes back with a jab. Great head movement. He's got to start coming out over the top of those punches though. He can start countering that jab now. He's got the timing to slip it.
And it's funny, the flat-footed style of Alves, the toughness almost allows him to just not move his head as much as other fighters. He'll eat punches instead of evading them because he wants to draw you into a confrontation. He's made a decision here in round two to not do that anymore, which is very fascinating.
It's good as well because, oh, look at the blood from the nose. Am I seeing blood? Or is it just redness?
It might be more profound redness. I can't really tell until Inoue maybe, oh, just missed. Oh, it is blood coming from the nose of Naoki Inoue.
Oh, there it is!
That landed
There's that
from
counter!
Marcirley Alves, and he slipped off the center line, Dan, through the overhand right.
Just as we were talking about, Sean, with the head movement, when you start slipping punches, you can start countering those punches because you've got the range and you've got the timing. That's what we saw from Marcirley Alves there. He came over the top with that clubbing right hand. And just for a moment now, Inoue was all over the place.
And now Alves starting to hunt the other targets as well. Tried to dig one to the body there. Inoue still very much in this, recovered quickly.
And again with the cracking right hand. See some swelling on the nose as well and the cheekbone now.
Coming up on the halfway point of the fight. Alves now with a good switch of stances. He landed a jab there. Goes back to orthodox. Inoue made him pay for the freeze. Good. Wow, nice little nifty lead uppercut from Inoue, but then Alves came back with the two-punch.
Goes to the body, check lead hook there for Inoue. Oh, and again with the slip counter. You can see Alves' confidence is on the rise now. I'd look to see him throw a few more low kicks.
Right hand starting to get to work here for Inoue. And Alves is going to have to be very careful of that because he's very committed to slipping off the center line and overhand his own right. If Inoue adjusts the angle on his counter right hand, he could intercept that forward lean. Good right hand there and a body kick after.
Again, a nice cut off there from Alves using the, oh, and that was a right hand left hook that got through there. Just kissed the chin of Inoue. And Inoue doesn't seem to have the power to be able to compete in this striking range. I wonder if we're going to see some grappling, Sean. You talked earlier on in the fight about his submission game. It might now be time to start thinking about it.
Well, you just mentioned the power. That's one of the things that's very interesting about Marcirley Alves, because he's not big, even for this weight class, but he's incredibly powerful.
Yeah, he really is able to plant his feet very well and transfer power from the ground all the way into his punches. And a lot of it is to do with his timing as well. You know, the counter that he landed on that jab was just really well placed and really well read.
Under a minute now in the second round. Much better frame here from Marcirley Alves, the 2025 PFL tournament winner.
Oh, and again.
Off the center line, right hand, and he followed it with the left hook this time. Good jab there from Inoue, but it triggers a combination on the response.
And again, the right hand comes over the top. The cage is closing in on Inoue.
Good head movement again from Alves.
This is a very different round to the first. It's almost like Alves was kind of using the first round to get his reads before he started to uncork some of that power. That was a good knee. Got to be cautious dipping into that center line.
Both nostrils pouring blood here for Naoki Inoue as the second round comes to a close.
Look at that counter right hand. Perfectly timed, perfectly placed by Alves. Bang, right over the top of that lead hand as it was coming out. And here he travels forward with the body kick. Eats a right hand on his way in. He's got to be cautious. He can't underestimate the power of Naoki Inoue. If Alves is moving in with fury and intensity and walks onto a punch, he's doubling the power that his opponent is throwing. That's a badly broken nose. Oh my goodness.
And Mike Beltran is right. This is the last one. Dan, what would you tell Naoki Inoue in the corner if you had an opportunity between the second and third round?
I would tell him to start utilizing his kicks a little more on the lower body and start, set him up with his hands. His kicks have been very good. He even almost landed a clean knee at the end of that second round. I'd like to see him engage more with his legs, because that's going to force Marcirley Alves to be a little bit further away, and that's also going to make it way more difficult for him to read and counter when the punches are coming. What we're seeing really is Inoue wanting to focus more on his jab and his cross and his lead hook. And he's almost neglecting his kicking game until he kind of remembers every now and then, because he's in the right range.
Better timing here to start round three from Inoue. Nice feint there to get Alves to shell up. Didn't take advantage of it fully, though.
Still got great reads, great head movement. An inside low kick there, slaps to the inside of the quadricep.
Now attacks the body with a push kick. Southpaw stance here for Marcirley Alves temporarily. Throws a long left.
I like that touch to the body that we keep seeing. There's a nice high kick. A little bit too close to his opponent, kind of landed on the shin. Now Marcirley Alves.
Interesting, crashes forward, grabs the hips, takedown initiated by the Brazilian. And again, he does not have any market success in terms of submissions on the ground as a professional, but of course, if you made it to this level in mixed martial arts, you've got a ground game.
Absolutely. Well, you know, you talked about him fighting Higo in the first round of the tournament. He was a training partner of Higo, who's got a great ground game, as we know. So even Marcirley Alves just being on the receiving end of submissions and learning the game in that way is going to really diversify his own game when it hits the ground. Certainly his awareness of what's dangerous. Nice long jab from Alves. feel like he's switching stances a lot more in this round than I've seen him before as well.
Inoue's cracked him a couple of times with calf kicks, and he game faces incredibly well, does Alves. Even when he's hit hard, wherever it is, he does not show a lot, but maybe that lead leg's been punished more than we're giving it credit for.
Yeah, we actually thought he wasn't going to be able to make it to the tournament final because of how damaged his lead leg was, and he still showed up and gave an incredible performance. He does hide it. He does have a very, very good game face. And he's just got that kind of marauding energy about him, hasn't he? A bit John Lineker-esque. Plants his feet, throws big power punches, doesn't really mind too much what comes back.
Coming up on 90 seconds left in the fight, and Alves again crashing in with big right hands. Oh, the left hook! The check hook from Inoue's got Alves in trouble. The Brazilian trying to swing his way out of it, and he cracked his own left, and another just misses.
Look at this, we've got a Brazilian and a Japanese fighter electrifying the Belgian crowd. You've got to love how international mixed martial arts is these days.
I was about to ask Dan, in an even round, how much will the forward motion of Marcirley Alves influence the judges? And just then, Inoue cracks with a check hook, and now they're exchanging them again.
Lovely touch with the backhand. Oh, and again with the big left hook.
Alves now. Oh, the right hand stumbles Inoue backwards. The left misses.
Oh!
And this is the kind of fight Marcirley Alves wants. Under 30 seconds now.
Still got to respect that power, though. He's felt it now. You cannot underestimate Inoue. 15 seconds to go, all to play for potentially if he gets dropped again.
He landed a jab, did Alves. Inoue puts him on the wrong end of a combination, and Alves grabs a hold for the final few seconds. He pulls Inoue down and swings a couple more times as we hear the final bell. What a fight.
Great fight.
What a crazy third round.
What a fantastic bout that was between those two.
It could be enough to win a round, but look at all the damage showing on the face of the Japanese fighter. The judges have to take that into account. There's the replay with the check hook, taking Marcirley Alves off his feet.
I'll be honest, I thought the first round was pretty close. I didn't really feel like Alves landed too much of significance, but he got all of his reads, came out in the second round and really looked solid in that second round. And then again in the third round, most of the time he's the one moving forward, most of the time he's the one hunting the fight, and Inoue's moving away. So even if we split this down the middle and say, hey, look, they were completely even on everything else, the forward movement of Alves is gonna fare well on the judges' scorecards, I would imagine.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 incredible rounds by these two warriors, we turn to the judges' scorecards. Judge Cartledge had the fight 30-27 for Alves. Judge Van Houston had the fight 29-28 Inoue. Judge Barton had the fight 29-28 for your winner by split decision, Naoki Inoue!
A split decision victory for Naoki Inoue.
Click below to subscribe and watch more MMA content.